What's up, Facebook world? My name is Matt Garabedian, and I'm here live trying out this new platform. And wanted to get an opportunity to kind of test it out and see how it all works. It's a pretty cool platform that some of my buddies are using to communicate and to do live broadcasts. And eventually, what I'm going to be doing is bringing out some guests to help you guys that are out there that are looking to get some value while we're all here on quarantine and trying to figure out, what our daily activities are and how we can all get better from this pandemic the whole world's going through. And so I thought it'd be a cool opportunity to test this platform out and see how I could help provide value for you guys out there. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just sitting here in the garage on a Saturday, kind of my new favorite place now since this whole quarantine started. I got two small boys who, are full of energy and love to get crazy all the time and scream and yell. So this is my chance to kind of get out and collect my thoughts and do my workouts out here now. So it's kind of cool, like, not really able to go to the gym, so I was lucky to be able to invest in some equipment and get my workouts out here. I do my morning work and sit out here and actually do a lot of my business from out here now. So it's been cool. I can't complain. I've tried to make the best of it, and essentially that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if you're watching live, you have the opportunity to post questions, anything that I could help answer. And I just wanted to, hear everybody's thoughts that, are on watching. What are your thoughts? Do you think this pandemic, this situation we're all going through could be a blessing in disguise? And what does that mean, right? What does that mean for you? Have you looked at it as a negative thing, as a positive thing? What have you done to improve yourself? Is there something that you've been putting off, and because of the time that we have, that you were able to accomplish? Was there a project? Was there a goal? Was there something that you were looking to accomplish, and this time, being on lockdown essentially has allowed you to do that? So I'm curious. This is just kind of an open dialogue. I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts. I could also bring you in live. So if you're interested in, hopping on and talking, I could bring you live through this platform and we can have a discussion. If you have questions, if you have anything on your mind, it's an open forum. So, I'd love just to have that interaction and see how we can have a discussion and possibly help others that are watching. Answer any questions they may have. And so that's kind of the whole point of it. And like I said, I'm kind of testing out this platform. And so I'm going to bring on some guests in the future here and try to provide value for everybody. So I don't know if I don't know if it's allowing you to post comments through my personal page. I'm also broadcasting this on my business page, which is the Phenom Investor with Matt Garabedian. So if you're not following me there, that'd be cool. You can post questions through that link, I believe. So if you're on and watching, and you want to hop on, shoot me a message and or a request, and I could bring you in and we could talk. Hey, Alan, what's up, man? How are you? See, Alan's here. How's everything going? Justin Hoffman, what's up, man? Looking good. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's one thing that, I took advantage of the fact that I, really wanted to focus on getting in better shape. That was a thing that it's always like a work in progress for me. And, I figured, well, I could use this time as an excuse, because there's no gym, or, hey, it's we're all stuck in the house, so it's super easy to just, kind of throw it out the window and eat whatever you want. But I try to make it a point to really like tighten up my diet, and that's really what I did. I hired a a really awesome trainer that put me on a real dialed in eating plan, which was been, really huge for me, because I've never really taken the diet part seriously. It's always been kind of thinking I was eating healthy, but then when I discovered, what I was really doing, it was not the case. So that was a big learning lesson in what actually is considered healthy. How many calories that my body would need in order to be in a deficit, like weighing my own food. I've never done that before. That's been an interesting process. So it's kind of interesting to learn that whole process and see, how that works, right? Because if you don't know, you don't know. So that's been cool for me. Sometimes it's challenging. So I've been going on, I just did my 11th week check-in with my trainer. And so all he told me was like, congratulations, but now it's going to be even more hard. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but it sounds like we're going to step it up a whole nother level. So I'm not sure if that means, more of a calorie deficit or, what it means, but I guess I'll find out and, report back. So what's up with you guys? What have you guys been doing? What are you guys seeing? Are you concerned? Do you have, a bright opinion of the future? Do you think we're gonna open and rebound with speed, or is this going to be a long process? Is this going to be a painful process? So I'm interested to hear what your guys' opinions are. And I apologize if you're sending comments or I'm not receiving them. Like I said, this is kind of a brand new system that I'm working with. So hopefully it gets through here. Okay, so Alan says, I'm thinking long and slow. In terms of the rebound, why is that? What are your thoughts on? I have my thoughts. I'm just curious to see what you guys think. Let's see if I can do something here to make it when streaming to your profile. Facebook system. I'm gonna try to make some changes here real quick. I might not be able to do that right now, but I'm trying to see if see if I could add in people to make comments. Alan, are you watching this through my personal page with Matt and Guyane, my wife, or are you on my business page? Just curious, so I could see if people that are watching through personal can make comments. So for me, I had a call yesterday with some other real estate investors in the area. It was really cool to have a discussion on what people are seeing. For me, I did go through the 2008 downturn. At the time, I was just getting into business. So okay, cool. Thanks, Alan. So I was just getting into business and not really understanding what was going on, and so the economic collapse or the financial crisis really took me by surprise. So I was not prepared for it. I didn't see it coming. I didn't realize the impact and the magnitude it would have. I'm not sure anybody did at that particular time, but in the aftermath of it, I mean, it was a difficult time because going through that, I ended up losing my house, having my car impounded, going super into debt. It was painful. It was really painful. And so, when we go through the experiences and then come out of them and have, kind of some hindsight, we look at those times as growth and learning. I personally learned a lot and grew from that setback, and it also prepared me to be a little bit more mindful and anticipate what could potentially come in the future. Because if we're learning anything, like, you just never know in life what can potentially happen, right? Like, who could have expected this to happen? I mean, we were in an economy that was flourishing. Businesses were doing well. Obviously, the stock market was crushing it. Real estate was going strong, and then within a matter of several weeks, it started to go backwards. And now, a couple months into it, we've got a huge amount of people unemployed, a lot of questions still unanswered. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear. There's many people that don't know if they have a job waiting for them. I'm seeing, more layoffs and cuts coming from, big employers, large businesses and corporations that we've heard of filing for bankruptcy. So, it's really crazy when you look at what's going on and how it's all going to transpire in the next months after lockdown. So, when you're saying it's long and slow, I agree with you. It is going to be long and slow for sure. And so, some think it's going to be a year or two, and so could this be could COVID be a blessing in disguise, though, right? Because through adversity and turmoil comes opportunity, and people learn and grow from tough times. Like they say, there's not a whole lot of growth and comfort. So I'm imagining there's people that are struggling. I'm imagining there's people that are worried and nervous and scared, and it's going to force people to level up. Those that want to take control of their own circumstances, those that want the government out of their pocket, right? People that want to provide for their families, to grow businesses, to excel, right? And so these times when things are really challenging, it gives us a choice to either push through the fear and the adversity and the unknown, and come out of it, with more opportunity, improving ourselves, thinking of new ideas, ways to provide value and make an impact to the economy and to society. So, I would like to know, of those that you're listening, do you see this as a blessing in disguise? Ed Milet says things happen for you and not to you. So if we're always considering things happening to us, that's kind of more of a victim mentality. It's, why are these things happening to me? Why are these difficult times happening to me? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Instead of, hey, this thing's happening for me, right? And so how can I take that positive frame of mind and then, move forward with looking at the bright side of things, right? So for me personally, I think there's always a blessing in anything. We just sometimes have to look harder for it. And, in this particular time, for me, it was a blessing because number one, it helped me reevaluate my priorities. It helped me spend more time with my boys. I get to be with them all day, which is cool. I get to hang out with them. I get to focus on things that are important to me: my family, my wife, my health. Trying to get in the best shape of my life. It's forcing me to get a little bit more constraint on my business and how it's run. It's forcing me to think of ways to grow. It's forcing me to think of ways that we could be more efficient. I had a goal to write and publish a book that I've been working on for over a year. And when things were before COVID, I mean, it was something that I wouldn't work on at all. Frankly, I didn't have time, right? But now with all this time we've had, like, I've taken that opportunity to work on that project and make a lot of progress that I'm happy with. So I'm happy to say that, like, that was, to me, is like kind of a blessing in disguise to have these times for all the reasons that I mentioned. And so if you're looking at it differently, it's you're feeling worse about your situation, or you're wondering why you have to experience this or go through this. Maybe it is something that we could look deeper into and see, why is it that you're unhappy, or why is it that you have fear for the future? And I think that's an important question for all of us to consider. If we're going through those types of emotions, it's usually an opportunity to really look deeper and have a self-assessment into what we could do to improve. Where are we lacking? Where are we short-sighted? What are the things that we've been avoiding making improvements on, right? And so usually those are your sources of anxiety, fear, frustration, all these things that we all have to deal with. It's easier to kind of brush them underneath the table, so to speak, when things are normal and we're moving and we're doing our regular activity. But when things slow down to a halt like this, we have a lot of time to think and reflect. So, I challenge you, if you've been stressed, if you've been worried, if you've had, anxious thoughts and feelings, I encourage you to, really take a step back and figure out why that is. Where are you letting yourself down? Because if you have those feelings going on, typically it means that you're letting yourself down, right? You're making promises that you're not able to keep to yourself. And I think ultimately when we say we're going to do something and then we don't fulfill it or do the thing we say we do, we lose self-confidence, right? And that's how we build confidence, is to do the things we say we're going to do and accomplish them, making mistakes along the way, of course, but staying consistent and just doing it, working through adversity or pain or, things that, we're avoiding. That's how we build that confidence muscle, right? Scott, thanks, Scott. Scott asked, how would you say the COVID market affected your daily drive? In a positive way. Like I was talking about earlier, I don't know if you were on, but COVID really forced me to get much tighter on my daily activity, right? It forced me to start reevaluating things that I felt like I could cut out. It forced me to, make a transition into more of a self-development phase. I'm always working on myself personally, but this has given me an opportunity to just focus on myself and how I can eliminate some of the weaknesses that I felt I carried, and then really double down on some of the strengths that I have. And so I think for me, it's been a blessing in disguise, right? I think it's been an opportunity for me to do things that I wouldn't be able to do. Like I said, really focusing on how to, eat a clean diet. That was something I had never done before. And I always said I didn't have the time, right? Because we're going and coming. But, now it's I didn't have an excuse. I was like, I got to weigh out my food. I got to stay on this meal plan. I got to really focus on getting in my nutrition, get my exercise in, get my workout in, So that was really change. It was a big change for me, right? It was a huge change for the positive. And so now I'm excited to take what I've learned and move that forward, even when we go back to normalcy, if that comes sooner than later, I hope. But yeah, I mean, that's where I think it's been a blessing in disguise and positive for me. How about you? Would you say that COVID market affected your daily drive in a positive way or not? So yeah, do you feel like you're coming out of COVID in a better place? That's the question I would like to know. And why? Scott said, I've been definitely feeling a slowdown mentally. Okay. Um, So is that because you feel like you're not like amongst others, or you're in an environment that promoted, that urgency, or you're around feeding off of other people's urgency? Business has stayed very strong, but my daily habits have slacked off. Okay. Well, at least the good thing is you have self-awareness, right? Many people don't have self-awareness. They just kind of go through their life without stopping and thinking, if, hey, am I progressing? Am I going backwards? What am I doing to challenge myself? What am I doing to put myself in uncomfortable situations? People sometimes they avoid being uncomfortable. They like the routine, right? For me, I hate routine. When I get in a routine and I'm not challenging myself, that's when bad habits for me personally slip in. That's when I'll slack off, or not take my growth seriously. And so that to me is always a telltale sign when I'm bored, or I'm not focused or pushing myself, that I've got to like do something to spark a change that's going to force me to get really to get real present with whatever that specific goal. I definitely feed off other team members' urgency, so working more alone is easier to fall into temptation of slacking off. I'm in the office now trying to catch up on stuff I could have done in the week. Right. Um, yeah, I mean, sometimes people work under pressure better. I know I do. Like back in college, right? Like when they give you 2 weeks to complete an assignment, I never started it till it was like 48 hours out, sometimes 24. And usually I under pressure, I could, my mind goes to work on that specific task. If you give me, a bunch of time to complete it, I'm terrible at taking those early steps, if you will, or early preparation to do the thing. I'll like wait till the last minute and then like figure it out. And I'm not saying that's good advice. It's just saying that's typically how I am. And that's what I've done in the past too. Like, with my business, is I put myself in situations that make me feel uncomfortable. I'm doing it right now. I'm super uncomfortable in some of the stuff that I'm doing, that I'm new to, right? I'm growing, and I'm focusing on new opportunities, and I'm putting myself in environments I've never been in, that I don't have, all of the knowledge and experience. So, initially it's very, very uncomfortable for me. I get, I have some of that part of me that wants to control and do things. I want to fix stuff, because I tend to think like I need to do it. I need to put my hands on it and understand it. And when I don't have that, it makes me nervous. Right. So, that's what that's normal though. Like that's life, right? So yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in and contributing. I appreciate the dialogue here. And like I said, guys, I love this platform. A couple of my buddies use it. I think it's a cool platform. I'm gonna have a special guest on Tuesday, a great friend and mentor of mine, Mark Evans, who is going to pop on with me on Tuesday at 8 a.m. I'm going to try to do daily broadcasts through these channels daily at 8 in the morning. Try to answer questions, bring on people that I feel like could give you value and impact in your business. I'm a real estate investor, business owner. So that's my forte and my niche. But as we progress and grow, we're always looking, as an entrepreneur, we're always looking for new opportunities, new possibilities. So I'm excited to share with you some of the things that we're working on in the future and how we're looking to grow. Right. So what are you guys doing now with your business? Are you nervous that your job won't be there when you get back? Have you been laid off? Are you starting a new venture? Are you starting something that you're excited about? Is your business, has been business as usual? Like, I'm interested to know. Steven, how you doing, Steven? I grew during the COVID because I thought I can't go backwards. I started really listening to Ed Grant on YouTube. I also stopped sharing just pics on Instagram and Facebook, started doing videos instead. Business has grown since positive thinking. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Ed's great. I'm a part of the Arate Syndicate, so I have the pleasure of having Ed as a mentor. Been able to meet him in person and go to his house. It's been awesome just to be around that type of elite performer. It really stretches your mindset. When you're in a room with high performers like that, it really gives you a whole nother perspective. And the biggest thing about mentors and masterminds and stuff that I'm a part of, one of the biggest advantages that we have are borrowing people's beliefs, right? When you're able to see someone and they're positive and they've got energy and they show you how you can do it, you start to borrow that belief, which is huge because we want to be around people that are like-minded, that are at a whole nother level than us, of course, because if you're an ambitious person, growth is important, right? So for me, I've always been an ambitious type person. I try to improve daily. I try to do something that's going to challenge me. So putting myself in those environments have always worked for me because it just helps me grow, right? I get inspired, I get ideas, and sometimes they're good ideas and sometimes they're not, but it's the point of using that muscle. You're trying to push the envelope, you're trying to create, you're trying to do things to better yourselves. And that's what life's all about. It's not just, it's not about money, right? It's about how can we grow as people, as individuals, and then challenge ourselves and then accomplish those challenges and goals and move forward in growth. That's what's awesome. And I applaud you, Steven. So continue to, there's so much information, right? This is the kind of the cool thing about the times we live in. I mean, so much information is available at your fingertips. So like, how are you taking advantage of that? Are you learning a new skill? Are you doing a new venture possibly? Are you learning something that you've never done before? That's the growing and the stretching part, right? Like that's the opportunities we have at this time to do something that you couldn't do in normal circumstances, right? I mean, there's so many different things that you can learn to cook, learn to a skill, right? Something that you could do to provide value to others or to start another business. Learn to write. I don't know. I mean, just whatever you really want. This would be the time to do it. And so I hope you guys have taken advantage of that time and really thought about what it is that you wanted to do. PMA, not NMA. I'm not sure what that means. PMA, not NMA. Not sure what that means. Can you clarify? Is that an acronym? Where are you guys where are you guys from? Are you from the area? Are you local? Where do you guys live? Ah, makes sense. Positive mental attitude, right? Yeah, it's the whole thing of things happen for me and not to me. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Whatever that particular outcome is, if we initially feel like, man, that was not good or that sucked or whatever, how do we look at that circumstance and example as this? I could see a positive that could come out of this, as opposed to, like you said, right? A negative mind goes to places that we don't want it, right? We all have days where we're like, man, this is tough, or we don't feel good about a certain thing. But if we let that, grow and fester in our mind, that could lead down to some places that are very, very difficult to be in, especially when we're in quarantine and we have not a lot of things that are guaranteed. Our circumstances seem bleak at best, right? Our mind tends to like paint this real dark picture, and we've got to train ourselves to look at the positives. Keep that mental attitude positive, keep that edge, and the growth from that. So thank you for sharing that, Stephen. And you're from Visalia. That's awesome. Right on, brother. Appreciate you being here. Guys, any questions? Do you have any questions, comments? I'd love to bring someone on and have a chat. Seriously, this is kind of my first time using it, so I don't know how all that works, but we could probably figure it out. Here's a question I had. What's been your biggest challenge? Your biggest challenge, personally speaking. It could be a business challenge. It could be a personal challenge. What have you seen as the biggest obstacle for you guys to overcome? For me, it's been, I sometimes don't share enough, right? Like that's why I'm kind of forcing myself to do stuff like this. I know there's a lot of people that, do Zoom calls and all that type of stuff. But at first I wasn't like really jumping on the bandwagon for that, because I just felt like it was a lot of people going back and forth about, what's going to happen. And a lot of people, saying this or saying that. And I wasn't sure like how effective that would be or how important that would be. But, I definitely enjoy conversations. I enjoy talking to like-minded people. I enjoy hearing people's thoughts and their challenges, their, what they're overcoming, their victories. I really like that type of stuff. So that's kind of why I'm trying to make an effort to, do more of these lives, do more of these conversations, so we could provide benefits and feedback to one another. That's really what it's cool to me. And, that's kind of why I'm putting this out here. And as I continue to get better with this type of technology, find people that I could bring on, have interviews with, have people on that could give you value and help you with your growth, because that's obviously the big theme here today is, how we're handling COVID and what we could grow from and how we're handling it internally. Any business owners? Any questions about your business? Comments about the economy? What you guys think about the economy? Where that's going? I think there's going to be a lot of new opportunities. I think people are going to really reevaluate how they do business, from big employers to entrepreneurs to, even people that had a job before COVID and now considering not going back because they've figured out a way to work from their house, and be more efficient that way. Maybe they figure out a way to, start a business or provide value to someone, and they don't have to get up, do the whole routine, show up at an office, 9 to 5 every single day. Because I think the biggest impact from this is people are going to enjoy the fact that they could be at home, right, and still make money and provide for their family. They're going to enjoy each other's company more. They're going to enjoy the fact that they don't have to get in a car and commute to places, right? I think there's a lot of benefit to that. I think there's a lot of benefit of being able to hang out in a tank top and still, make money. That's cool. I've never been a suit and tie type guy. I would never see myself doing that. I refuse to do that. I just never, it just never was an option for me. I never told myself I could see myself in an office environment where I work for someone. I already work for a crazy person already. It's me. So I can't imagine going to work for someone and having to, show up when they tell me and leave when I tell me, and trading all my time for a paycheck. Just something that it just never made sense to me. And maybe now that you guys maybe were in that position, in that environment where you had to go to work, where you had to go to a place of work that you didn't care for, that you had to do a job that you hated. Maybe this is the blessing in disguise that you can see, man, like I can't go back to that. So how can I create something, right? How do I create value? How can I go sell something? How can I sell a service, sell a product? How can I coach others? Whatever it takes, whatever you think you want to do, this is the time to do it, right? I think it would be, a waste of opportunity and time for you to go back to something that you didn't like. I mean, this could really be the clean break that you were, thinking about or hoping for. And now, given the circumstances of everything, now it could be, this is your time to just bail, right? And go do what it is that you want to do. I think now is the time, because it would be an easier transition, right? It's like the world's changed. The way we do business is definitely going to change, right? 100%. I just don't see how things are going to be back to how it was the normalcy of things. Everything changes, right? If you think about how the world was impacted and changed after 9/11, right? And in the way we, had some of our, freedoms kind of taken away, if you, in a sense, how things changed on, traveling, for instance, right? Like that changed forever. So how will COVID change the way we do business forever? Can we go into a restaurant or a bar or a movie theater, right? Or a sporting event? What will be changed from that? Are they going to, limit people, or, have to stay away, or are they going to make you wear masks, and are they going to put us on lockdown every time it's flu season or the new pandemic season? I hope not, because that would suck. But my guess is, things that were the way they used to be are not going to be like they used to be. It's just, I don't see it happening. I see more changes, and again, it's what we make of it, right? How can we adapt if they're going to force us to make changes in the way we live, and the way we communicate, and the way we do business, and the way we interact? I think we're going to see quite a bit of change over the certainly next year and 2 years and beyond. So do you guys have thoughts on that? Do you guys think things are going to be much different, or are they going to be, business as usual? I'm curious to know what you guys think. That's the question. Will things be the same pre-COVID or completely different? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to come on and talk, let me know. I could bring you in. I don't know if there's a request on your side to join the broadcast. If there is, and you want to come on, let me know, and we could do a live discussion. We could do a live session. Any other further questions, guys? Like I said, this is something I'm testing out. Love to see how I could use this to its full capabilities. I think it's a cool platform. I think you know, it'll be cool as we start working with it and getting more consistent with this type of broadcast and posting people's questions and, you know, creating an environment for people to come to, have a discussion, post questions, whatever. And that's the whole point of it. If we don't have any more questions, I just say thanks for checking this out. I'm gonna bounce off out of here so I could get my meal in and then my workout. And you know, it's gonna get hot today here in Fresno. I could already feel it. So maybe it might be a good day to go swimming. You guys going swimming today? I think it's gonna be like in the 90s. All right, guys, if you have any questions here, I'll hang out for another 30, 40 seconds. If no one has any questions or anything like that, I'll bounce. And we'll be back on Monday morning at 8. And then Tuesday morning, I'm going to have a very special guest who will provide a lot of value. So I highly encourage you to check us out on Tuesday morning at 8. But like I said, I'll be back on Monday morning at 8, trying to do these consistently every morning at 8 a.m. So we can hop on, have a discussion, talk about topics, talk about things that you have questions about. And until then, you guys have a blessed day. I appreciate you guys checking this out. Leave a comment and let me know if there's anything that you guys would like to have featured or discussed in the future. I'm doing this to provide some help, some feedback, any topic, really. It could be anything. I'll find the person to bring on if I can't speak to it intelligently, and just an avenue for all of us to grow and connect. All right, guys, appreciate your time. Thank you for checking this out, and we'll see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. All right, guys.